So, here's the deal. I'm 26 years old, and I've been with this guy, let's call him Max, for quite a while now. We hit it off right from the start. Max's family, they're mostly cool with me, but his sister, let's call her Olivia, is a total nightmare to deal with. To give you the full picture, Max is the oldest child in his family. His parents immigrated from Asia, and 3 years after Max was born, along came Olivia. Max has shared stories about how their parents were super strict about grades, always pushing them to be at the top of their class, aiming for the best scores possible. But here's the thing. Max wasn't really into studying. He was more of an athlete, really good at sports, and super into chess. He joined the chess club at school, even stayed late to play. His parents, though, they didn't get it. They thought chess was a waste of time, something anybody could do, and they kept nagging him to quit and focus on his studies. Max was smart, but not in the way his parents wanted. Olivia, on the other hand, was exactly what they wanted. She was all about the books, always acing her exams, spending nights buried in homework. As you can guess, she was the favorite. Max told me how his parents constantly compared their grades, rewarding Olivia for being better. For example, they'd throw her grand birthday parties, let her have sleepovers, buy her bigger gifts to show their affection. But for Max, they'd tell him they were ashamed of his marks. On his birthdays, they refused to spend money, saying he needed to work harder to earn a party or gifts. It breaks my heart even writing this. I've seen Max break down, telling me these childhood stories, how his parents always treated Olivia better. She was the golden child and she loved it. She'd put Max down at every chance, mocking his grades, never respecting him as her older sibling. That disrespect? It still lingers today. When it was time for college, things got worse. Max's parents said they couldn't afford tuition for both kids, so they'd only pay for Olivia's. Max was shocked. They told him to apply for scholarships or take out loans. It led to a huge fight. Max went off, asking why they even had him if they didn't care about him. His parents said they'd made sacrifices for their kids, and now it was Max's turn to grow up. Olivia sided with them, calling Max the less intelligent one, saying he should sacrifice for her sake. She even called him a loser. That fight was a turning point. Max realized his parents would always favor Olivia. When he got into college for computer science with scholarships, he moved out, went low contact with his family. His parents didn't even help him move into his dorm. It's heartbreaking to think about. Over the years, Max kept contact minimal. When he graduated cum laude, his parents wanted to attend, but Max forbade them. They cried, saying he was their son. They wanted to be there. Max reminded them they didn't pay a dime for his tuition while funding Olivia's, so they had no right to share in his achievements. They fought, but in the end, they stayed away. That's how their relationship was for years. Now, about me. I'm an architect with a master's in urban planning from one of the top universities in our country. Unlike Max's parents, mine were easygoing. I'm an only child, so I got all their attention. My parents, both professors, encouraged me to study what I loved and pursue hobbies. I was lucky, never facing comparisons. They always had my back. I met Max at an office complex where we worked on different floors, his company on the 2nd, mine on the 7th. We'd bump into each other in elevators, had mutual friends, and hung out as a group. At a party, we hit it off. Max was charming, sweet, genuinely kind. He's the boyfriend who brings me flowers every month, gets my favorite cheesecake during my period cramps without me asking, cooks for me, and isn't shy about saying he loves me. I'm a sucker for romance, so it didn't take long before I moved in with him. It just made sense since we spent so much time together. I've heard horror stories from friends about boyfriends who don't help around the house, but Max is the opposite. He's more OCD than me, deep cleaning our home every weekend. We split tasks. If he cooks, I clean. If he does laundry, I fold. That's just how we roll. When it came time to meet each other's parents, Max warned me he'd been low contact with his for years because of how they treated him. He shared his childhood stories, and I understood why he kept his distance. Still, when he told his parents about me, they were thrilled and arranged a lunch date that weekend. I was nervous, but it was an important step, so I gave it my all. His parents were surprisingly warm, and when they heard about my academic background, they got even friendlier. Looking back, yeah, they probably liked me because of my achievements, but I didn't mind. I wanted to impress them. They opened up, saying they'd realized they needed to do better by Max after he went low-contact post-college. They were grateful I came into his life, saying he might not have reached out otherwise. They even awkwardly apologized to him, which shocked Max. It was nice to see them trying. But then Olivia showed up. Max hadn't been told she'd be there, so he was annoyed. His parents explained they invited her to let go of the past and move forward as a family. His mom said Olivia was there because she was happy for him. Olivia gave me a polite hug, but she seemed shy and completely ignored Max, acting like he wasn't even there. When her parents bragged about my academic background, her demeanor changed. She started questioning my work, my university, subtly mocking how urban planners affect the environment. At one point, she asked how I felt about murdering trees, which floored me. It was like she couldn't handle her parents liking me. Throughout lunch, she was passive-aggressive, disagreeing with everything I said, no matter how small. When my father-in-law offered to pay the bill, Max insisted on covering it. Out of nowhere, Olivia interrupted, saying I should pay since I was earning so much. It was a taunt and it stung. I'd do well, but she had no right to talk about my finances. Her parents noticed my expression and reprimanded her. Her dad called her rude. Her mom told her to shut her mouth. Olivia didn't like that, got up, and stormed out. Her parents apologized repeatedly, saying she takes time to warm up to strangers. I let it go, thinking I wouldn't have to deal with her again, for Max's sake. That should have been my first red flag. Unlike Max's family, mine adored him. My parents loved getting to know him, thrilled we were living together, and checked on me regularly. Over the years, I noticed Olivia always viewed my social media stories first. I have a public account where I post about my designs and achievements, with about 1,000 followers, so it's easy to spot her. She'd watch daily, but never interacted or followed me. As Max's parents started meeting us more often, Olivia's obsession grew. We had a family group chat with me, Max, his parents, and Olivia, mostly inactive unless we shared photos from meetups. Olivia stopped showing up after that first lunch, but she saw the group photos, which probably upset her. Once, she sent a Facebook link to the group, asking if it was me. It was a years-old photo of me hugging my high school ex-boyfriend, posted by him when we dated. I'd forgotten about it, and I don't know how she found it or why she shared it. I owned up, saying it was me, an old boyfriend. Olivia replied, saying I seemed awfully close and should ask him to remove it since it was inappropriate. I was stunned. She'd stalked my ex's page, shared the photo, then blamed me. Max, who'd been reading the chat, said it was a normal photo and he had no issue with it. Olivia shot back, passive-aggressively saying he should date someone with better standards. I was furious, ready to lose it. Max clapped back, saying he did have better standards since I earned 4 times Olivia's salary as a graphic designer. Her parents had mentioned she didn't earn enough to move out, so that must have stung. Olivia left the group in a huff, later called Max, screaming and crying that he had no right to insult her. Max didn't care, which made her angrier. His parents called me that evening, apologizing for her, saying they had no issue with the photo. It was awkward discussing my high school ex with my in-laws, but I was glad they weren't like Olivia. After that, Olivia stayed away. She never rejoined the group or bothered me, until we learned she'd eloped with a guy named Isaac in Vegas. Her parents were shocked and furious. They didn't know him or get invited. Turns out, Olivia had been dating Isaac, 15 years older, for years. They met at work while he was married, and their affair led to his divorce. Once it was finalized, Olivia eloped, knowing her parents wouldn't approve of her marrying an older divorce. Max and I found out about Isaac's past via LinkedIn and Instagram. Despite the affair, we hoped she'd turn over a new leaf, but we didn't reach out. A few weeks later, Olivia texted me unexpectedly saying, "I know I haven't been nice to you, and I'd like to apologize. I didn't fully accept you as family before, but I'm past my prejudice now. I'd love to get to know you better. Can you and Max come for dinner this weekend?" I showed Max, who was wary, but I convinced him it could be a chance to work things out. I replied, confirming we'd come, and she seemed happy. At Olivia's new place with Isaac, she welcomed us warmly. Isaac, clearly wealthy, showed Max his modern home and collectibles. While the guys bonded, Olivia and I talked. She apologized for her behavior, saying she'd changed after marrying Isaac. I smiled, saying it was water under the bridge. Then she explained why she hated me. She said I'd changed Max, making him more confident and happier. I pointed out that was good, but she said she was jealous because Max, who'd been low contact for years, only reached out because of me. It didn't make sense, but I nodded to move on. She then bragged about Isaac's wealth, his assets, cars, though I never asked. When she asked about my work, I shared my recent promotion and love for designing. She cut me off, asking invasive questions like when Max and I would marry. I said we discussed it but weren't rushing, believing things happen at the right time. She scoffed, calling it BS, saying I should push Max to propose so I don't get too old to have kids. I laughed, saying we didn't want kids and were happy as is. Her eyes widened in shock. She said it was a woman's duty to give birth and asked why I was with Max if I didn't want his kids. I snapped, saying Max and I were adults who decided what we wanted. She got mad, yelling for Max. When Max and Isaac rushed in, Olivia demanded Max explain what kind of woman he was marrying, who didn't want to continue his bloodline. Max laughed, asking if she realized how ridiculous she sounded. Olivia got louder, saying she'd tell their parents, who'd never let him marry me. Max shouted that no one could stop him, and her narcissistic, controlling behavior was why he cut her off. Things got heated, so I asked Max to leave. Isaac apologized profusely as Olivia glared at me. In the car, I cried, feeling awful about her words. I asked Max if he wanted kids. He reassured me he never did and told me not to let Olivia's backward thinking get to me. He said if he wanted something different, he wouldn't be with me. I felt better after that. I don't know if Olivia told her parents, but they never brought it up. They kept meeting us, acting normal. I blocked Olivia on all social media. I was done. This year, Max proposed at our favorite date spot, and we've been busy planning our wedding. Our parents were thrilled, congratulating us. Olivia found out through her parents and texted Max, "I hope you know what you're doing," which pissed him off. I felt sad. She still held a grudge. 2 months ago, things got crazier. I had a headache and wasn't feeling great, so I planned to cook Max's favorite dish. We were missing ingredients, so I hit the grocery store. The first store didn't have everything, so I drove to another in a different part of town. Passing a cafe in the shopping complex, I saw Olivia cozying up with a guy. At first, I thought it was Isaac, but he was younger, closer to her age, with brown hair. They were holding hands, kissing, giggling like teenagers. I was shocked. She was supposed to be married to Isaac. If they'd split, Max's parents would have told us. In disbelief, I took a few photos to confirm what I saw. She didn't notice me, too caught up with the guy. Back home, my hands were shaking. Max saw I was upset and asked what was wrong. I told him everything, showing the photos. He asked multiple times if I was sure. I nodded, and he agreed it wasn't Isaac. I wasn't sure about telling Isaac, worried Olivia would fight Max again. Max insisted Isaac deserved the truth, promising to handle it carefully, man to man. Max spoke to Isaac privately. Isaac was floored, learning Olivia was cheating with a younger guy. Even more shocking, Olivia was pregnant and hadn't told Isaac, waiting for the right time to announce. Isaac begged us not to tell Olivia we'd spoken to him, saying he'd handle it. We agreed and stayed out of it. Last week was our wedding. Max's parents convinced us to invite Olivia, saying it'd look bad if she wasn't there, as she's family. We agreed to keep the peace, but I told them to ensure she didn't cause a scene. They promised. The ceremony went smoothly, and we moved to the reception. My parents gave a beautiful speech. My dad teared up, saying his baby girl had grown up. Max's dad thanked me for bringing the family closer, which warmed my heart. But out of the corner of my eye, I saw Olivia trying to grab the microphone from my father-in-law. I know her too well to take chances. I tipped off my bridesmaids to tell the DJ to cut the mic if Olivia tried to speak. When she did, her voice didn't carry. She glanced around, confused. My maid of honor, Martha, took the mic, and the DJ turned it back on. Olivia realized we'd cut her off deliberately. She lost it, screaming in the middle of Martha's speech about how dare we silence her, claiming she had an important announcement. She tried grabbing the mic. Martha held firm. Olivia stood on her chair, shouting that I was jealous of her, a bridezilla who wouldn't let her speak. She announced her pregnancy, saying it was the perfect time with loved ones gathered. She smiled, expecting applause, but everyone looked awkward. Max's parents whispered to her to sit down, not embarrass them further. Olivia turned red, glaring at me, yelling if I was happy for ruining her moment, calling me a loose woman her brother shouldn't have married. Max, who'd stayed calm for my sake, stood up, looking ready to lose it. Before he could, Isaac took the mic from Martha. He apologized for Olivia's behavior, congratulated us, then turned to Olivia. He said he didn't want to do this publicly, but she needed a lesson. He confirmed she was pregnant, but said he wasn't the father. The crowd gasped. I cringed, knowing where this was going. Olivia's face soured. Isaac told her to figure out who the father was before making announcements, smirking. Max's parents asked what he meant. Isaac showed them photos from his phone, saying he'd grown suspicious and hired a PI who caught Olivia cheating. He didn't mention us, thankfully. Max's parents looked at the photos in disgust as guests whispered. Olivia sat speechless, realizing she couldn't hide the truth. Max seized the moment, telling her to leave, saying he was embarrassed to be related to her. Crying, she grabbed her things and left. We tried to salvage the wedding, but everyone was buzzing about Olivia's affair and pregnancy. It was embarrassing for us and Max's parents. Since then, I've gotten emails from random addresses, clearly Olivia, threatening to finish me, blaming me for her public humiliation, saying I should have let her announce her pregnancy. I showed Max, who says we did nothing wrong. It's all her doing. He might be biased, so I'm wondering, was I too harsh on Olivia by not letting her announce her pregnancy? Update 1. Wow. When I shared this, I hoped a few people would weigh in. Now there are hundreds of comments calling Olivia out, and this is blown up in days. Thank you for showing me she's as manipulative as I thought. To answer some questions. Yes, Isaac is divorcing Olivia. I'll forward her threatening emails to him for his court case. We haven't spoken to Max's parents yet. We're on our honeymoon, and it's a heavy topic. We'll talk face-to-face soon. My parents and relatives were as shocked as everyone, and they check on me daily, shaken by Olivia's behavior. For so long, I hoped we'd at least be cordial. I ignored how narcissistic she is. My family's support has given me confidence to cut her out, even if Max's parents resist. Update 2. We're back from our honeymoon and spoke with Max's parents. They're beyond embarrassed. They've cut off Olivia, which we didn't expect. They said she tried moving back in after Isaac kicked her out, but they refused. She's staying with a friend now. Max told them what Olivia did at our wedding was unforgivable, and we want no contact with her. If they ever push us to include her, we'll cut them off too. Max's mom cried, saying she never expected this from Olivia. I don't know if they'll stick to their word, but I'm glad Max is no nonsense. I trust he'll keep her out of our lives. We're done with Olivia, for good. Update 3. It's been 8 months since my last update. Isaac has divorced Olivia. She confessed to the affair, saying it was purely physical but got pregnant. She didn't want a relationship with the guy and hoped to hide it. Since she was at fault and they had no kids, she's getting no alimony. Olivia begged Isaac for a car as a keepsake, but he refused. She cried, saying she had no one during her pregnancy, since the child's father abandoned her, but Isaac said it wasn't his problem. Max and Isaac have grown closer, meeting for video games on weekends. Max's parents haven't spoken to Olivia, so she's truly alone. For her child's sake, I hope she makes better choices moving forward.